Joining me today is Kirsten Davis. She is the communication manager for the city. Now, Kirsten, there has been some confusion about when this project would wrap up. Now, we were told early this week, it's midweek. What are we looking at right now? What can we expect?
Right, so there's a lot of different elements that go into actually opening up a route, right, on a project. And so we still needed to do some last minute or the final inspections. And so we want to make sure that everything is done right the first time, because if we don't get it right now, then we're just going to have to close it down again. So there were a couple things that we found that need to be tidied up. And so that's what we're working on now. Just like anything else, I think we've all done projects at home that take a little bit longer than normal. We're still ahead of schedule. We are hoping, we can do it as soon as possible, but to avoid any other confusion, I don't want to say a date or a time. And believe me, we will be pushing it out there as quick as we know there is a car that can go through there.
And what type of work was done here, and what can drivers expect when the project has been completed?
Right, so this bridge actually was starting to shift when traffic was going over it. And again, this is a corridor that gets some heavy, some heavy trucks and different cars, and it gets a lot of volume because it is one of the main routes between Highway US 195 and the South Hill. So we just needed to replace the bridge deck on it, and that takes time, but we are still ahead of schedule, so we feel good about that. The crew has done an amazing job. One of the benefits, though, is that it will have that right-hand turn lane, so that's been a frustration for folks that there's one car at the front trying to turn left onto the highway, and so all these cars are backed up for a long ways. So people are going to be able to get a right-hand turn lane in there, so that'll be huge.
And you mentioned that concrete is the material that is being used. What is the lifespan of this type of material?
Right, so concrete just has longer durability. That's why we use it in those high traffic intersections, or like on the Thor Freya corridor. That has decades, rather than asphalt that, especially in our climate, the freeze and thaw causes a lot of damage throughout the year. So, and a lot of kind of patchwork that causes more interruption or impacts it, more often. Doesn't take as long to repair, but it happens more often. So that's kind of the difference. And again, the bridge deck just needed to be replaced structurally. It's really important that we keep our bridges safe. And so that's really what this project was about.
Well, thank you so much for that update. In Spokane, Malia Kamal, KREM 2 News.